Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. This is a Divine Mass and Divine Feminine Union read. Just a little bit of clearing. Take a deep breath. You might want to take another deep breath. Okay. So today is May 2nd, 2020. The 2 is the High Priestess, and the day adds up to 11, which is Justice, which is also a 2. So very in sync energy today, very psychic with truth and balance. So that's a very nice balanced energy. The Union read was done at 11:56 to 57 today. 56 is the 2 of Swords and 57 is the 3 of Swords. 11 being Justice again. And I woke at 11:29, which is the Justice with the 3 of Wands, staying present. But the 29 parallels the 11 too, because 29 reduces to 11 and 2. So being very present today with Justice, which is truth and balance, in your intuitive feminine self with the number 2. 11:56 to 57, the 2 of Swords and the 3 of Swords has to do with being present in your knowing, knowing without knowing, and the 57 has to do with separation. So being able to note when you've become separated from self and go back into your knowing of the 2 of Wands, or the 2 of Swords. And this is the SIRIAN Starseed deck. So the images are very different than the traditional deck, and they suit the journey very well. So we start here with the underlying energy. For those of you who don't know my setup, it's the 3D in the bottom, 3, 4D, and then 5D at the top. Usually I have the underlying energy over here, which I've now put up here so you can see it, the 6 of Cups, and then the outcome or the ending card, the summary card, is the 3 of Swords here, which was the 57 that we just mentioned. Very interesting there. The feminine energy coming in, 3 cards, the masculine energy going out of the read, 3 cards, and then vertically we have the feminine on the left, the masculine on the right, and the bridge between in the middle. So we have the underlying energy of the 6 of Cups, that beautiful inner children loving each other as well as your own children as well. There's a big bond between childlike energies today. And then we have the center card, which is that 2 of Swords. So the 2 of Swords, the read was the 56 to 57, which is literally the center card, the 2 of Swords, and the 3 of Cards, the ending card. So very cool that it's synced that way. The underlying energy of the inner child love and the love between kids as well today, always in their knowing, like using the children as your example, always in their knowing, gliding on air with their head in the clouds because they're always in love. The underlying feminine energy coming in here is the 3 of Pentacles with the higher self, and then the 4 of Cups. So there's that co-creating a trill. That's also the Trinity energy, but the trill with the higher self, which is that very high vibration, and staying present to the stars, staying grounded when turbulent oceans are all around you, like spotting in gymnastics. Focus on what's still and constant to keep yourself balanced. And gymnastics comes up for me because I did gymnastics, and spotting came up yesterday, the day before, in order to keep that focus. And when you're on the balance beam, that's how you stay on the balance beam, by spotting one spot that doesn't move. So again, like spotting in gymnastics, focus on what's still and constant in order to keep your balance. The 3D here is the Karma card, and then the King of Pentacles or Master of Crystals in this deck, and then the Tower energies here. And so the Divine Feminine side is Karma, which is also the Judgment card, for opening the Lotus, and 2 X's perhaps, double X. The North Node was coming up here too, like changing. If you've been dealing with a lot of water signs in relationships, with the Cancer node, it's changing into Gemini as we go to the 5th of this month. So stepping into air from Capricorn to Aquarius, and the North Node going into Gemini, those energies all year, like shifting more into the air energies. And then I was getting I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. So that's instant karma, which is coming up for the feminine, because you're out of karma because you can't get karma because it instantly comes back to you. And that was just being reminded of the full saying I got from goodreads.com. So remember that childhood saying, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. And then I was getting eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. And the white Bengal tiger comes up in our reads all the time, jumping through the ring of flames. Catch a tiger by the toe. If he hollers, though, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So you may catch him, because he's pretty fast, that tiger. But if he hollers, you have to let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So it's always your choice. So the divine masculine here on the 3D is the tower, the sudden events. Lightning strikes across the skies, reaching far and wide, with 3 to 4 fires for him to clean up. The shadow puppets scaling the walls lost their balance and fell. Bridge the 2 in the 3D by mastering crystals, Akashic records, opening the crown. The jaw is just another opening and closing. It's only attached to the head by a hinge, unable to completely disconnect. And it's able to completely disconnect from the head. So why did I say that? What was I thinking? So it's saying your mouth is completely detached from the rest of your head. Use your words wisely and clear your crown daily. The 4D energy was coming up, the 7 of Wands, the 2 of Swords, and the Queen of Wands. So the divine feminine rising above drama to tango and dance, holding the flame, magically floating above her position as Middle East rises and withdraw from fighting, holding their torch, while the divine masculine Queen of Wands is the fire starter, continues to try and incite a riot, creating more drama for the divine masculine in the 3D. The 2 bridge in the 4D by the 2 of Swords, being in your knowing and floating with the greatest of ease and grace. No resistance, only space and balance, spotting on the balance beam. All right, so that's these 3 here. Rising above, and this is kind of like rising from the ashes in this deck. She's rising up to tango above the flames. And then we have the 2 of Swords here, totally just floating on air in a balanced way. And then the Queen of Wands, which is the fire starter. So I'm going to show you these 2. All right, so here's the Queen of Wands in this deck. All right, so she's got 3 sets of arms, and then we have the tower beneath her, right? So she's starting all those fires below. You see that? Okay. So in the 5D, we have the divine feminine with a message with the Page of Wands or orbs in this deck, the 3 of Cups here, and then the Wheel of Fortune, the Destiny card here, which just has the picture of an atom in the middle of the card there, and colors of the rainbow around it. So the divine feminine with a message, dug up from deep caverns, so very deep waters there, or deep stone. The divine masculine destined to atoms. Adamant was coming up, and bombshells. Big wheels keep on turning, rolling on the river Nile and Euphrates, bridged by 3 blind mice. See how they run. Oh, I wasn't getting that parallel here. So the 3 blind mice are coming up as Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran, because Iraq is stuck in between Saudi Arabia and Iran. 3 blind mice, see how they run. They all ran after the farmer's wife, who cut off their tails with a carving knife, destined to get a message out there by coming together into joy, the masculine and the feminine. And that could even, if they're all running after the same thing, it could literally be Kuwait, right? Because that's the hub of the oil industry. So, and that also relates to Yemen, which came up yesterday, because Yemen is right there at the bottom, where the Euphrates and the Tigris rivers come together. So at 12:43, I turned the page, which is the Hangman, and the 43 of the 3 of Cups, which is at the middle here. The 3 of Cups is right there. So the divine feminine opening her lotus to rise above judgment and spread the word of light and love. The divine masculine in drama as sudden events rise and fall, with the Queen of Wands at the helm, destined to go down this way. And the bridge between them is the King of Pentacles, Akashic records, and making crystals and crystalline bodies. Being in your knowing and floating in the 5D joy of coming together to celebrate love. The outgoing masculine energy is here, and we have 5 of 8 cups showing here. So that was bringing up 58, which is the 4 of Swords, but also 5/8. So it's a little bit above the half, right? A little bit more light. You always want a little more light than not. And then we have the Starseed card and the Seeker of Flames, or the Page of Wands. So that 58 is the Four of Swords of resting, praying, meditating in 5D with the Divine Masculine and Feminine. 58 also reduces to 13 and 4, walking away and within to meditate 40 days and 40 nights across the beach or across the desert, opening crown in the lush jungle to receive big downloads and a fresh new start, wiping the slate clean with the Seeker of Flames or Page of Wands, the masked boy with burning desire, with female worshippers begging for his inflamed flame, STDs and all, infections and all, like Mao Tse-tung, a faceless deity allowing women to service him, washing his infected dirty body with their willing portals, and them gladly so, to be in his presence, to not be killed, or not starve, or live a hard-working poor life, honored to hold his STD, the best life they could think of, a dirty or unbathed man with inflamed penis always in his hand, a mask of arrogance and conceit. One has to ask oneself, what happened to this little boy? One who cares so little for human life. The 40 to 70 million in 2 years that died without blinking an eye, and talking about Mao Tse-tung here, tied to boards in the street and thrown forward to be shot in public in an instant. Parallel Jesus with women throwing themselves at his feet, tempting his human body. You have to ask yourself, is this receiving love, allowing himself to be loved, accepting sexual favors, or punishing self-hatred for being a bad little boy? How can one not loving themselves be loving you when you are not loving you or them? It's always a reflection. Love or fear is always your choice. Respect or disrespect is always your choice. If pain brings you pleasure, you must ask yourself why. What wound taught you that? Give them what they want, otherwise we'll torture you, we'll kill you, we'll hang you, bleed you, cut things off, force you to cut your own parts off, stuck under a rock in order to save your own life, and you have to cut your own arm off. Pain may show you what pleasure is, but it's always your choice to stay in the pain or just tunnel right through into the bliss. Rebirth yourself over and over and over again. You don't have to do or say or be anything for love. Love just is. Do you deem yourself worthy of? What do you do to self-love, nourish, heal, pamper, rest, create, and play? At 117, which is the Magician, and the 17 of the Star. Are you worshiping your children over yourself? Because it's easier to do that. Putting your kids before your needs, even when they're grown. The summary here is the Three of Swords, of separation from yourself. The lightning strike, being the lighthouse, the beacon in the night. 2 strikes present, and remember 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game. But who decided on 3 strikes and 9 innings? Why not 4 and 10? You write your own story, nobody else. The summary cards here go from the 6 of Cups in the beginning to the 2 of Swords in the middle to the 3 of Swords in the end. Past loving memories bring you your knowing so that you can be the beacon of light when the lightening, so lightening yourself up as your body becomes more light, when the lightening comes, or in other words, the quickening. And then Highlander came up. And for those of you who've never seen Highlander, the movie, you must watch it. Highlander, who wants to live forever? Who wants to live forever? Right? You know that song. Who dares to love forever when love must die? You can't be fully mortal until you're at the last one, the final life, the quickening, the 3, and then down to 2, and then down to 1. Love. Sometimes you must behead someone who won't stop until they behead you. If you want them to stop, the non-human, the assassin, if your child was drowning, do you not take them out of the water? If you are drowning, why do you not take you out of the water? Why do you refuse to breathe? You are not all here to allow others to hang you out to dry like Jesus. You are here to find your way back to love and expand love in the process, knowing we don't die, but rather shift in dimension. Jesus was showing us how to transcend pain in a demonstration, and you notice demonstration is demons, okay? Demonstration, Jesus was showing us how to transcend pain in a demonstration as opposed to letting your demons get the best of you. Eye for an eye only presents if it's in your subconscious. You can take on the dare or walk away with the truth. If you raise your vibration and resonance, the bee doesn't attack. If you are one with the world, you can dance like a butterfly, but there's no need to sting like a bee. The bee just loses their stinger and dies. You are here to be human and yet dare yourself to love all of it and be alive. Because love never dies, just your perspective changes at 148, which is the Magician and the Eight of Cups, walking away within. Go back to child and start from 0 point again and again, as many times as it takes to have and to hold your innocent heart and what that takes. Rise and be love.